أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، بارئ الخلائق أجمعين، باعث الأنبياء والمرسلين، ثم الصلاة والسلام على خير خلقه العبد المؤيد والرسول المسدد، حبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد، وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين وصحابته المنتجبين. قال الله تعالى في كتابه الكريم: أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. يا أيها الناس إنا خلقناكم من ذكر وأنثى وجعلناكم شعوبا وقبائل لتعارفوا إن أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم. صدق الله العلي العظيم. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. Racism has always been a social problem from the beginning of times up until our time. You rarely come across a society in history that didn't have racism. The Quran tells us many stories of racists and racism in several societies. For example, at the time of Musa, the Egyptians, the people of Pharaoh, they were racist towards the Israelis, towards the Israelites. يُذَبَّحُ أَبْنَاءَهُمْ وَيَسْتَحِي نِسَاءَهُم. He would kill the men and enslave the women, and he would treat them as slaves. He would treat them as slaves. One of the reasons why he was so upset at Musa alayhi salam is that he told him, your people are my slaves. I am their God, and they are my slaves. You want me to worship your God? You want me to listen to you while you and your people are my slaves? Even during the days of Jahiliyyah, before the advent of Islam, there was a lot of racism. There was a lot of bias and prejudice. The Arab, they were known for their racism. They saw themselves as the best of creation. They saw themselves as superior to everyone else. And by the way, even Bani Israel who were victims of racism, they were racist themselves. They felt they were God's chosen people. During the days of Jahiliyyah, the Arab felt they were superior to all others. And their language is superior to all other languages. That is why the Quran was revealed in the Arabic language. Why was it revealed in the Arabic language? The Quran tells us that if Allah Azza wa Jal had revealed the Quran in any other language, in French, in English, in Urdu, in Farsi, in any other language, the Arab would not believe in it. Because they were so racist, they would not accept a religion, they would not accept a book revealed in another language. So Allah, to fight their racism, to get them to believe, revealed the Quran. One of the reasons, of course, there are other reasons why the Quran was revealed in Arabic. But one of the reasons is because if it was revealed in any other language, they would not have accepted it. The Quran says, وَلَوْ نَزَّلْنَاهُ عَلَى بَعْضِ الْأَعْجَمِينَ فَقَرَأُهُ عَلَيْهِمْ مَا كَانُوا بِهِ مُؤْمِنِينَ. If we had revealed the Quran on any non-Arab, أعجمين, أعجمي means anyone who is non-Arab. If you were to have recite the Quran to them in another language, they would not have believed in it because of their racism. So racism exists, and it's very real. In Europe, they were very racist against the Jews. They were against Jews. And that's why the Holocaust took place. Jews in Europe, in Poland, in England, in Germany, in Austria, these countries, they were very racist against Jews. And that's why they ended up eradicating millions of individuals only because they believed in a specific religion. Racism in some areas can lead to ethnic cleansing. It could be so bad in some communities and in some societies that it leads to an ethnic cleansing. You feel like wiping out an entire race. It could lead to a genocide. The Armenians, there was an Armenian genocide in Turkey. Although the Turks, they deny the Armenian genocide, but the Armenians say that we were obliterated in Turkey at the hands of the Turkish army. We saw on the news of the Rohingya Muslims in Myanmar. And ironically, this racism and this ethnic cleansing, it happened at the hands of the most peaceful people on earth, Buddhists. Buddhists are generally very peaceful, yet they're monks. These Buddhist monks, they came and they began this ethnic cleansing, this genocide of Rohingya Muslims. In South Africa, there was an apartheid. In Rwanda, there was an apartheid and there was a crisis. This is all because of what? Racism. Because of a group of people that think they are superior than others. They are greater than others. Just because of their race, not because of merit. Not because this person has good qualities or has a good education. No, no, no. Just because his race, this person believes his race is greater than other races and other nationalities. This racism. It could lead to atrocities, to ethnic cleansing, to genocide. And we Muslims, throughout history, we haven't always been the victim of racism. We too have been racist at some part of history. We have also been the perpetrators of racism. Today, my dear brothers and sisters, we will discuss how Islam came to eradicate racism, how the Prophet, what steps the Prophet took to eradicate racism, and then we will talk about something very real, racism in our communities today, not at the times of Jahiliyyah. No, today we see some racism in some of our communities. Sometimes, whether we realize it or we don't, sometimes our behavior is deemed as racist. Today we'll try to touch upon this topic. Wa sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. The Quran is very clear. The Quran comes and says, Ya ayyuhan nas, O people, not O you believe. And all the other verses, Ya ayyuhal ladina amanu. But this verse is speaking to all of mankind, humankind. Ya ayyuhan nas, inna khalaqnakum min dhakarin wa untha. We created you from males and females. وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ شُعُوبًا وَقَبَائِلَ لِتَعَارَفُوا. And we made you into tribes. وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ. We made you into tribes. So this was purposely planned. Allah planned for us to be of different nationalities and to come from different ethnic backgrounds. Allah made us into various tribes. He created white and black and brown. And Allah purposely made this. Why? لِتَعَارَفُوا وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ شُعُوبًا وَقَبَائِلَ لِتَعَارَفُوا. So that you may meet, so that you may know one another, understand one another, appreciate one another, learn from one another. And then, إِنَّ أَكْرَمَكُمْ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ أَتْقَاكُمْ. The most honorable of you is not Quraysh, is not who's white or not who's black, not the one that speaks Arabic or doesn't speak Arabic. The most honorable of you is the one who is pious, the one who's God-fearing, the one who's righteous, the one who does the most good deeds. That is the most honorable of you. So Allah Azza wa Jal, He puts a scale for us. How do you determine a person's honor? Not by his lineage, not by his blood, and not by his color, but through his actions. The one who has the best of actions is deemed most honorable. Look at the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Two individuals. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala. Two individuals, look at their fates from two different lineages, but look at their fates. One is Abu Lahab, the uncle of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, from Bani Hashim, from Quraysh, the uncle of Rasulullah, the Quran condemns him. تَبَّتْ يَدَا أَبِي لَهَبٍ وَتَبَّ مَا أَغْنَى عَنْهُ مَالُهُ وَمَا كَسَبَ. Although he's from Quraysh, although he's the uncle of Rasulullah. And another man like Salman al-Farisi, from a completely different empire, from the Persian Empire. He comes because of his actions, because of his righteousness. Rasulullah gives him the best of honor. He says, Salmanun minna Ahlul-bayt. Salman is from us, the Ahlul-bayt. All because of actions. What brought Abu Lahab from the highest status to the lowest? And what brought Salman to the highest of status? Actions and deeds. Islam says it's all about your actions and not your lineage. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. In Surah Al-Hujurat, Allah Azza wa Jal says, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu, la yaskhar qawmun min qawmin, asa an yakunu khayran minhum. O you who believe, do not make fun of one another. Do not make fun of one another. You know, we have a very bad habit. This exists in most societies. In every society, we make fun of another society. For example, I'll give you an example from Iraq. In Iraq, we make fun of the Kurds. Whenever you want to say a joke, you say it about a Kurd. Although, go and look at Kurdistan today. The joke is on us. Kurdistan has become a very well-established country. It's almost like Europe. In every society, you will see a group of people, a race, they make their jokes on them. Whether they're greedy or they're stupid or they're... This is unethical. This is un-Islamic. لا يسخر قوم من قوم عسى أن يكونوا خيرا منهم. Perhaps that group, that individual, that tribe, this family that you make fun of, they're better than you in the eyes of Allah. What do you know? What do we know? Perhaps that person is greater in the eyes of Allah. In another verse, إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةً فَأَصْلِحُوا بَيْنَ أَخَوَيْكُمْ. Surely all believers are brothers, regardless of their nationality, regardless of their race, they are all brothers. وَأَنَّ هَذِهِ أُمَّتُكُمْ أُمَّةً وَاحِدَةً وَأَنَا رَبُّكُمْ فَاعْبُدُونَ. Surely this ummah is one ummah. Regardless of the different nationalities, regardless of the different languages that you speak, they're all one. They're all one. This is what Islam teaches us. Not just in the Quran, even in the rituals. Those who've been to Hajj, when you go to Hajj, you all wear the same ihram. You can't tell who's rich, who's poor, who's from this country, who's from that country. In Arafah, they have various tents, and unfortunately, this is a bad habit. They have these luxurious tents, these groups where you have to pay an enormous amount of money to go with these groups. Although Hajj is built upon zuhd. Hajj is meant to humble us, not to make us stand out of people. Unfortunately, there's a lot of groups, 5-star Hajj groups. Anyhow, this is in Arafah, but in Muzdalifah, no matter how much money you paid, in Muzdalifah, everyone's the same. You sleep, after 2 hours you wake up, and there's people from different nationalities all around you. White, black, Pakistani, Iraqi, American, Iranian, Turkish. They're all sleeping together. They're all sleeping in one area in Muzdalifah. A reminder just like of the Day of Judgment. Because this is what Islam is. They're all equal in the eyes of Allah. Regardless of the language, regardless of the nation. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Rasulullah would state, كُلُّكُم مِّنْ آدَمْ وَآدَمُ مِّن تُرَابٍ. You're all the children of Adam, and Adam is from sand. All of us, our origin is from sand. النَّاسُ سَوَاسِيَ كَأَسْنَانِ الْمِشْطِ. In another hadith, Rasulullah would state that people are equal. Have you seen sticks of a comb? How they're all lined up perfectly equal? This one's not taller than this one. They're all equal. Rasulullah says that people are equal just like the sticks of a comb. They're exactly equal. They're exactly the same. Imam Zayn al-Abidin alayhi salam he was seen performing tawaf in Masjid-Al-Haram. And then after his tawaf, he went and he held the curtain of the Kaaba, the cloth of the Kaaba. And he began weeping and crying. Tawus al-Yamani, he was not a follower of Ahlul-bayt, but he was a lover of Ahlul-bayt. He saw Imam Zayn al-Abidin crying, weeping inside Masjid al-Haram. He told him, Ya ibn Rasulullah, anta taf'alu hadha, wa anta ibn Rasulullah, wa anta ibn Amir al-Mu'mineen. Oh Zayn al-Abidin, you do this, you cry and you weep and you beg Allah for forgiveness, while Rasulullah is your grandfather, Ali ibn Abi Talib is your grandfather. Meaning, since your grandfather is Rasulullah, then you're straight. You immediately have a direct access to heaven. Imam Zayn al-Abidin told him, no. Da'ani an hadith abi wa ummi wa jaddi. Tawus, leave my father aside, my grandfather aside, my mother, my grandmother. This is besides the point. خلق الله الجنة لمن أطاعه ولو كان عبدا حبشيا. Allah has created heaven for anyone who obeys Him, even if he's from Abyssinia, from Africa. وخلق النار لمن عصاه ولو كان سيدا قرشيا. And He has created hellfire, even if he's from Quraysh. So lineage has nothing to do with this. It's all about actions. صلوا على محمد وعلى محمد. When Rasulullah was sent as a messenger, he saw that the people of Mecca were extremely racist. Proof of that, some of them refused to become Muslim. Why? Because Rasulullah, Islam, equated between a master and a slave. He told them, you're all equal in the eyes of Allah. The master and the slave, the white and the black. They're completely equal in the eyes of Allah. They were astonished that how can a master and a slave be equal? One of the steps that Rasulullah took to fight racism in Mecca was that he appointed Bilal as the mu'adhin. Being a mu'adhin, this is a very honorable job. You're calling people to salah. Sometimes when I attend some mosques, some youth camps, they ask the youth to say the adhan, they're embarrassed. This youth says, no, let someone else do it, let someone else do it, let someone else. Why? Saying the adhan is a great honor. Is there any greater honor than calling people and reminding them to salah? So this was a very important position. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave it to Bilal al-Habashi, who was from Abyssinia, who was African. Although Bilal, he could not recite the adhan properly, he would say, Ashhadu anna, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. He couldn't say the sheen. They told him, Ya Rasulullah, you couldn't pick anyone better than Bilal? And he can't even recite properly? Rasulullah said, yes. Seenu Bilalin inda Allah sheena. The seen of Bilal, Allah counts it as a sheen. Rasulullah could have replaced him with another mu'adhin, but he refused. He wanted Bilal because he wanted to show people that even though he's black, so what if he's black? So what if he's from Abyssinia or Africa? He might be greater than 100 white men. And after the conquest of Mecca, after Fatih Mecca in the year 9 or 10 after Hijrah, if I'm not mistaken, when Rasulullah came peacefully to Mecca without fighting, it was time to say the adhan inside Masjid al-Haram. Rasulullah asked Bilal to go on top of the Kaaba, to stand on the holiest place on earth, on top of the Kaaba, and recite the adhan. And Bilal did. Some of the people of Mecca who converted to Islam, one of them said that, thank God my father is dead. Because if he were alive and he were to see this black crow, if he were to see this crow standing on the Kaaba, he would have died from pain. Calling him a crow. Why? Because crows are black. You see the racism? You see the akhlaq that Rasulullah and the Ahlul-bayt had to deal with? Yeah, Rasulullah tried his best to make sure that people believe they are all the same and equal in the eyes of Allah. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. In the mosque of Rasulullah, there was a corner named As-Suffa. Until today it exists. If you go to the Prophet's mosque, there's a corner close to his shrine called a Sufa. It's maybe a step higher, very small corner. This corner was designated to all the homeless. Whoever doesn't have a family, who doesn't have a home, they can come and sleep inside the mosque of Rasulullah, as-Sufa. And sometimes Rasulullah would come and eat with them, he'd have dinner with them, sometimes he would sit and console them, spend time with them. These were individuals that did not have families, they did not have homes. One of these individuals who lived in the Sufa was a man by the name of Juwaybir. Juwaybir was from Abyssinia. He was from Habasha, from Africa. He was black, he was dark, he didn't have a family, he was poor. One day Rasulullah saw him, his heart broke for him. Told him, Ya Juwaybir, one day you will have a family, and you will have a house, and you won't be staying in the Sufa. You will have your own house and your own family. Juwaybir started laughing and told him, Ya Rasulullah, are you serious? I'm a man, a black man from Abyssinia. I don't have family members here. I don't have relatives here. And who's going to give me their daughter here? Who will allow me to marry their daughter? I said, Ya Juwaybir, have faith in Allah. We are Muslim. We're all equal in the eyes of Allah. And you will get married. He told him, you know what? Stand up. Stand up and go to the house of Fulan. Go to the house of the Sahabi. He has a daughter by the name of Al-Dhalfa. Go knock at his door. Go to him and tell him that Rasulullah orders you to give me your daughter in marriage, her hand in marriage. Juwaybir said, Ya Rasulullah, please excuse me. Please forgive me, but I can't do this. Rasulullah told him, I command you. So Juwaybir, he got up, he left the mosque, he went to this companion's house, he knocked the door. He told him, I have a message from Rasulullah. So he welcomed him, he welcomed the messenger. The messenger of the messenger of Rasulullah. He told him, what can I do for you? He told him, Rasulullah orders you that you give me your daughter's hand in marriage. He said, I am honored that Rasulullah has ordered this, but you know, we're the people of Medina, we're the people of Yathrib. We give our daughters to people like us, our neighbors, our own people. We don't give our daughters to any strangers. So please forgive me and ask the Prophet to forgive me, but I cannot do this. Juwaybir was extremely upset. He got up and he said, I swear that this is not the akhlaq of Islam. And this is not the akhlaq of Rasulullah. He got up and he left. His daughter, Al-Dhalfa, she was listening. She was listening behind the curtain. She came out. She said, my father, what did you do? Didn't you hear that Rasulullah has sent him? He told you I've been sent by Rasulullah. He said, what should I do? She said, call him back and tell him you accept. So he called him and they accepted. You see this young lady with true faith in Allah, true faith in Rasulullah, she accepted to marry him. And so they got married. They had a wedding and they prepared a home. And they got married. And this became an example. Rasulullah, and the young lady, she was not married by force. She did it willingly because Rasulullah asked her. Because Rasulullah asked her. So it didn't happen by force. So these were practical steps that Rasulullah took to eliminate racism. Not just Rasulullah, but even the companions of Ahlul-bayt. Look at Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. Maytham al-Tammar was dark-colored. There were some other companions that disliked him, yet he was Amir al-Mu'mineen's favorite. One of Amir al-Mu'mineen's favorite companions and closest companions was Maytham al-Tammar. Maytham al-Tammar. Maytham was dark. He was black. He was illiterate. He was poor. He was a date seller. That's all he had. He would sell the dates of his Jewish owner. Yet Amir al-Mu'mineen bought Maytham. He bought him as a slave. And then he set him free. and he became his closest disciple, one of his closest disciples. Maytham al-Tammar, if you compare him to other companions of Amir al-Mu'mineen, like Kumayl ibn Ziyad, like Ibn Abbas, Maytham al-Tammar had a lot more knowledge than others. To this point, listen to this. Maytham al-Tammar, after the martyrdom of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam, Maytham al-Tammar came from Kufa. He used to live in Kufa. He came to Medina to visit Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. He came to visit Imam Hussein. Imam Hussein had already left Medina towards Kufa. So he came to the house of Rasulullah. Salama, the wife of Rasulullah, she opens the door. He tells her, "Where is my master Imam Hussein?" She tells him, "He's left. He's left for Iraq." "Who are you?" He said, "I'm Maytham." She said, "Which Maytham?" Now, Maytham al-Tammar lived all his life in Iraq. He had never met Rasulullah. He had never come to meet Rasulullah. He's from the Tabi'een. He's not from the Sahaba. Meaning, he became a Muslim after the time of Rasulullah. So he's not from the Sahaba. He's from the Tabi'een. He never met Rasulullah. Salama, she tells him, "Which Maytham? Maytham al-Tammar?" He said, "Yes." "How did you know my name? How did you know who I am?" She said, "طالما سمعت رسول الله يوصي بك عليا في جوف الليل." She said, time and time again, I would see Rasulullah whispering your name in the middle of the night to Ali ibn Abi Talib. In the middle of the night. To Ali ibn Abi Talib. Telling Ali ibn Abi Talib about you. This was Maytham al-Tammar. Look at his level and status to Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. So let's come back to racism. Racism is a major problem, my dear friends. Here, even in the West, Western civilization. In fact, here in America, unfortunately, America, the foundations were built upon racism. It was built upon slavery. They brought slaves from Africa to make them work. And for many years, racism was a problem. Here in the United States, there was segregation between white people and black people. They had their own schools, their own buses, or if they would use the same bus, white people would sit in front, black people would sit in the back. They had their own water fountains at schools and public places. That is why leaders like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, they came and spoke for justice, for equality between white people and black people. And this isn't just old, it's even new. The Black Lives Matter, this is a new movement. In 2016, 2017, 2018. Today, this movement still exists, Black Lives Matter. Why? Because a couple of black people that were innocent were shot dead. They were killed because the police officer thought they were criminals. Isn't this a form of racism? Of course, this doesn't mean that all the police here in this country are racist. No, but this exists. Even if it's a very small minority, racism still exists, unfortunately. It's not just against black people, against Hispanics, against Muslims. Don't we have Islamophobia? Just a couple of weeks ago, maybe 2 months ago, there was the Punish a Muslim Day. Did you hear about this? Punish a Muslim Day in the UK, in Europe. Find a Muslim and punish them. Why? For what crime? What crime have they committed? This is racism. Unfortunately, the most advanced civilizations in the West, they still suffer from racism. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. I come to the main part of my lecture and I conclude that we also have racism in our communities. You know, sometimes we speak of equality and justice and everyone's equal in the eyes of Allah, but when it comes time to practice, we don't put it into practice. And this is a problem. A couple of weeks ago, I was in Karbala. I was in the shrine of Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas. A young man stopped me. He recognized me, he saw me, he said, "Sayyid, I follow your lectures, and I want to tell you something. That we have racism in our communities." I told him how. He said, "I was in love with a young lady. I'm Shia and she's Shia. We're both Shia. We're both Ithna Ashari Shias. But their problem is I'm from one nationality and she's from another nationality. I'm from one ethnic background and she's from another ethnic background. When I went to propose to her family said no. No, because you don't speak our language. You're not from our race. He said, Sayyid, is this Islam? Is this what Ahlul-bayt taught us? Are these the teachings of Ahlul-bayt? I told him no. I said, then why do we have these problems? This is a very common problem. This is not the story of one individual that I met in Karbala. This is the story of many individuals that I know and you know and others know. This is a problem. Why is it that when it comes to marriage, we stop a marriage, not because the person is not a Shia, he's not a believer. No, because of his race, because of his language, because of his ethnicity. This is a problem that we need to address. We need to address. Sometimes you have an issue with this individual because of his faith, because of his akhlaq. This is understandable. But because of his color, because of his ethnicity, this is not acceptable in Islam. Another issue that exists in some communities, I've visited some communities. There are some communities, they have various mosques. There's a Pakistani mosque, Iraqi mosque, Iranian mosque, maybe even an African-American mosque. And what happens is each ethnicity, they tend to go to their own mosque. That is understandable. Maybe you don't speak English. You want to hear an Arabic lecture. The only language you know is Arabic. And you want to hear an Arabic language, an Arabic lecture, that's understood. You want to hear a Farsi lecture, that's understood. But there are some cases, no, they don't want to go to the other mosque because they're a different nationality. Me, I go to that mosque. Don't you know it belongs to this ethnicity, that ethnicity? I don't want to go to their mosque. This is racism. This is racism. When you don't want to go to a mosque just because of their ethnicity, just because of their nationality, not because you prefer your own language. No, because it's being racist. This is a problem. Another problem that we have is our friends and our social gatherings, especially during the month of Ramadan. We invite people for iftar, for suhoor. Generally, we end up inviting whom? People from our own ethnicities, generally speaking. If we're Iraqi, we tend to invite Iraqis. If we're Iranian, we only invite Iranians. If we're Pakistani, we only invite Pakistani. Why? Why open your home? When you have an iftar, open others. Why are we restricted to our own people only? Are they not Shia? Are they not our greater community? Didn't the Ahlul-bayt teach us that we are all brothers and we are all sisters? In some communities, and I have to address this, in some communities I've seen in some mosques, in some community centers, their choice of speaker is based on nationality. If he's from our nationality, we invite him. If he's from a different nationality, he doesn't get invited. Why? Is that the criteria of inviting a speaker? His nationality? Shouldn't it be his lectures, his wisdom, his knowledge, his effect on the youth? Shouldn't that be the criteria? No, I've seen others. Their criteria of choosing a marja is ethnic based. So if the marja is from my country, I follow him. I've seen some people, the only reason why they follow this marja is because he's from their country. Or he's from their hometown. You know, in some places, the taqleed is based upon the city. So, for example, if he's from Tabriz, the people of Tabriz will follow him. If he's from Shiraz, they will follow, the people of Shiraz will, it's based on cities. This is not how marja'iyya should be based on. It's not based on ethnicity or language or nationality. Absolutely not. Marja'iyya should be based on knowledge and righteousness. Look at Sayyid Sistani today in Iraq. Sayyid Sistani is from an Iranian origin. But most of the people in Iraq, they follow him and they respect him, including the government. He even has a say in the government. Because it should not be based on ethnicity and nationality. It should be based on knowledge, wisdom, and righteousness. And also, I conclude with this. I conclude with this because this is also a common problem that I see in some communities. Converts. How do we deal with converts? You know, I've seen many testimonials from converts themselves. They say when we become Muslim, we're welcome to the mosque. Everyone wants to welcome us at the mosque. In fact, they give us the platform to speak. Please tell us your story of how you converted. Everyone wants to know the story of our conversion, right? But then outside the mosque, for iftar, for suhoor, do they get invited? No one invites them. They're only friends at the mosque. They're only welcomed at the mosque. But outside the mosque, no one wants to be friends with them. Why? Aren't they now our Muslim brothers and sisters? Aren't they now our Shiite brothers and sisters? This is a great mistake. And this could create a backlash in some of the converts. They say, if this is Islam, then forget Islam. You know, I've heard from several converts a quote that is very painful. You know what they say? They say that, Alhamdulillah, we discovered Islam before Muslims. Because if we had discovered Muslims before Islam, we would not have converted. I've heard this several times. Because if they look at the actions of Muslims, they say, you know what, forget it. These people are racist, these people are so and so and so. This is a mistake. When a convert comes and embraces our faith, we should embrace them. Not just at the mosque, but at home. Invite them for iftar, invite them for suhoor. If it comes to marriage, so that's another topic. A lot of converts, they have a difficulty in getting married. They have a difficulty in getting married. They don't want to go back marrying a non-Muslim because they want to raise a proper Islamic family. Now that they want to marry a Muslim, who gives them their daughter? Or who allows their son to marry a convert? This is a major problem. What's the barrier? Islam says don't allow your son or daughter to marry a convert? Or the Ahlul-bayt said this? Neither. Because it's racism. We're racist. Unfortunately, this is a problem that I've seen is very common in the United States, in Europe, in Australia, that we need to tackle, inshaAllah. So I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide us all to the right path, to guide our communities, and to guide our youth. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. اللهم إني أسألك أن تجعل فيما تقضي وتقدر من الأمر المحتوم في الأمر الحكيم من القضاء الذي لا يرد ولا يبدل أن تكتبنا من حجاج بيتك الحرام المبرور حجهم المشكور سعيهم المغفور ذنوبهم المكفر عنهم سيئاتهم وأن تجعل فيما تقضي وتقدر أن تطيل عمري في خير وعافية وتوسع في رزقي وتجعلني ممن تنتصر به لدينك ولا تستبدل بي غيري. أعوذ بجلال وجهك الكريم أن ينقضي عني شهر رمضان أو يطلع الفجر من ليلتي هذه ولك قبلي تبعة أو ذنب تعذبني عليه ولأرواح المؤمنين والمؤمنات. الفاتحة مع الصلوات.